all in blue today.
We
hey,
are.
everybody. Welcome
That's
to season
right.
2.5 of Every Woman. And what does that mean? It means we're getting in the studio. We're doing some bigger and better things. We're learning. We're growing. And we're going to come together and have a few different discussions on this here podcast with our red cups and coasters. Because we're ladies. Cheers to that.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So, first topic of season 2.5. When women are forced to do things that are more independent or seemingly masculine, people go, oh, well, she's this masculine woman doing all this stuff. Whereas on the other side of that, when men do things on their own, they aren't seen as having to be feminine or anything like that. Like, what is that even about? Like, why is it that when women are doing their thing, it's always like, oh, well, why are you being so manly about it?
Well, first of all, most of the things that, if we're going to look at quote unquote like gender roles, right? Most of the things that women do are normal adult things, to be honest. And so it's kind of like to hear a guy say, you know, I don't expect to hear someone say like, well, that man's single, he has to tap into his feminine energy. Like, excuse me, sir, what type of energy are you really tapping into? Like, explain, you know. But when it comes to a woman tapping into her masculine energy, there's certain things that women may end up doing that, you know, normally a man would take care of. Like, I had a cousin paint her whole house and tear up the carpet and do her flooring. Those are things, as far as gender roles, that typically men do. But she's single, she did her thing, and it's just, you know, I don't think it's toxic. To be honest, I feel like you can still do things and take care of business as a woman and still be feminine.
So when you say still be feminine, I know you do like some plumbing work. Do you consider that to be like masculine, or do you feel less of like a woman for doing that kind of thing?
Well, when I was doing it, see, I'm not doing it now. See, that's when I was in that relationship. See, when I was in that relationship, I was doing that. And it was, no, because I was just there. And I always made sure that I still had something girly on. Okay. Like I would put on my lipstick, you know, a little eyeliner, because I didn't want to look like I was just one of the guys. But even now, as a single woman, there is things, you know, because I've been single now all summer. It's been a hot mom summer.
Okay, come on, single mama.
And I had to do a lot of those masculine things. I had to worry about, now I got to worry about getting the grass cut. Now, I didn't cut it, but, you know, I worried about it. Now, see, I had my sons take out the trash. But, you know, going to the car lot, I went by myself. You know, where normally that would have been something that I would have had a guy come with me, you know, knowing when
to the mechanic.
Right, going to get my oil changed. You know, I got to be paying attention. You know, I didn't go until the oil light came on, but still in all, I knew to go.
But that's the indicator, right?
Why is it considered masculine energy when you just being an adult taking care of yourself, though? I don't get that.
I think for some men it's because they would tell us that we're in our masculine energy because they would prefer us to be on a submissive level at every turn.
And so that's interesting because when you have men around you, does it have to be romantic for them to apply certain things? Like, Lauren, you got boys. You know, what type of things do you feel are more of a masculine duty, or even if it's just like a woman, period, you know, like things that they should be doing, masculine nor feminine?
Well, I look at it like how Toy said. I just have adult responsibilities that have to be taken care of, whether a man is there or not. They have to be done. But I do raise my sons to do the things that if I were in a relationship, I would want them to do. So if they were with a young lady, to make her life easier, such as, like, I don't like touching groceries. Like, if we get out the car, they know, go get the groceries. Exactly. I shouldn't even have to ask you. Trash is full. They grab it, and they walk out, they take it out. We're working on doors, but because sometimes I walk fast, and then I'm standing at the door for like 30 seconds looking, and they go, oh,
around like,
you know. But I do think it sucks that, you know, we don't talk, you know, the guy isn't, you and your feminine energy because you're single and you're washing your own dishes, you know, versus a woman that, what is she going to do? Not get the car
just
fixed, you know? Yeah,
exactly.
And I also think it comes from a place of
The
insecurity.
1950s?
You know why? Because any guy that comes to me and says, you got to be more feminine, you got to be more submissive, it's like, I just feel like they feel like, dog, I wish I could have been that guy that she could have been submissive to. I don't know. I just feel like they're trying to attack you in a way, like as if you weren't being submissive. That's why you're in the situation you're in.
I consider myself to be a submissive woman, yet independent. And someone said to me, you can't be both. I don't understand their logic because at the end of the day, I am an adult that has to take care of myself before anyone else does. When I am with the man, I should not become a dependent for him.
So there's an interesting fact that I learned like recently, right? Like we're not very far removed from certain laws and legalities speaking to what we are allowed to do legally on our own as women versus being married. It's just recently, and I don't know the exact numbers and days, and we know about fact checking. But just as of recently, it's like you don't have to get married. Every woman needed a husband to do work for her. And I think that maybe that's where our culture get these ideas of what masculine and feminine work actually looks like, because a man goes out and hunts and kills and brings home the stinky meat and you fix it, right? So to speak. Interesting. Another thing. Can I give a shameless plug real quick?
Shameless.
Do you guys mind? A quick little shameless plug. Okay. So a good friend of mine, his name is Chris Classic. He makes fragrances and he makes unisex fragrances. And he told me that men are attracted to women sometimes with even like a slight masculine musk on them, almost like territorial type stuff. Like you smell like a man that I'd rather try and get, like I'd rather swoop that up type of thing. Am I making sense?
Sounding a little weird, but
it's weird. That's what he said.
That's funny because I have always been a fan of men fragrance, and to be true,
right?
I know,
right.
And like Angel Man is one of my favorite smells, and like I'll never forget back in the day with my ex, I stole his Angel Man and just wore it. I mean, I didn't care.
That's because you like,
that wood chip smell. It was just
because
I loved it.
As a woman, like when I smell that woodsy, like I could just picture him chopping down a tree in the forest and then coming home and putting on
the visions. The visions come before your eyes.
To think of a man thinking that,
I like you because you smell like man. I don't want you to like me because I smell like man. Like, because I ain't gonna lie, no shade to nobody, but I'd be damned if I like a guy that smell like Love Spill. Like, we straight. I'm good on that.
Interesting.
I'm not gonna shade Love Spell. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just thinking like my dad and I have this like really cool bond over fragrance, and he and I like just growing up, I just put my nose to his shoulder and walk around. Like, just, I love the way he always smelled. And even to this day, he got like a million little African oils that was blended for him to spray on. Because he ain't paying the $700 for everything he want. But he got a whole arsenal. And sometimes I go in there and get my little spray on. And nobody knows. Nobody knows this man's fragrance. You know, it's just
there
the
are some
pheromones.
unisex smells, though. So, like, I get that. But
a lot of them are unisex now,
Yeah, you can't come around me smelling like Lotus Flower Bomb, no, bruh. Like,
no, that would be a problem for
you know what I'm saying? You don't come around me smelling like cucumber melon. Like,
so does that make a man more feminine?
I'm gonna.
If they're wearing floral or fruity smells.
I don't like the sweet male perfumes.
Yeah,
I just look at them.
I like the wood seed smells. Those
I don't like that sweet smelling guy.
Smell like good and like.
Yeah, you want that? I want that old school cool water smell. Come on back with it.
Oh wow, Jordan cologne. Dang, it's Miyake.
And I have.
It's Miyake. See,
I have found out a guy's cologne and bought it and tried to smell like him just to smell like him.
You
but
just like
not,
a scent.
Yeah, but not to
attract another man.
Other guys.
Because I'm
going
to question you. Like, I'm
no, it was more so like, you know how you can keep somebody's T-shirt?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's pose a scenario, right? You're a single woman. And you see a single man, he has kids, right? And then what are some things that could possibly happen with him that you would find as a turnoff because it was feminine?
Can we clarify how many kids he got?
As many as you want, boo.
Okay. Okay, so we at my cap.
My question is, they grown or they still little? You know what I'm saying?
Now, see, this is the thing with women. We need all these details.
Because that counts. Because a man with grown children and a man with small children, those are two men in two different situations, okay? Because them small children, he has to deal with the mom on a constant basis and all of that. And we talking about, like, and I say that because I'll never forget, somebody tried to date me, and they had a kid that's, like, under 2.
Oh, your baby under 5, I don't like you.
See, and so I just felt like, y'all still should get back together. You need to go home.
So your question was,
you need to go home.
Your question was, what were the feminine things? What was your question?
Right. What would be something that a man with children, young, old, 17 to 3, I don't know, and I mean that in numbers of children.
We went on a tangent, I know.
but the point, the question is, what are some of the things that maybe come across as feminine to you, just in a that might turn you off or turn you on? I don't know.
Well, okay, so shout out to all the girl dads out there and everything. Every child, whether boy or girl, needs to have a positive male influence in their life, in my opinion. Little girls like to do girly things. They want to play dress up. They want to play tea party. But sometimes you got to draw the line. Like, why you got on makeup and nail polish and a wig, bruh?
Right?
It, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't get one of your female friends to bring over and have a play date, and I want to paint nails. Like,
did you witness this?
Is that a conflicting situation?
On social media.
Oh, okay.
I see it too.
Like how it was. I'll give you an example. I seen one dad helping his daughter with gymnastic and cheer practice, but it was okay. He was still masculine doing his thing.
He had on the outfit.
And now if he would have put on the outfit, now you're drawing a line, bruh. You just want to be Malibu Barbie, and so
on the low, on the low.
And so it's a line there. You can still help your daughter, but your child still needs to see a masculine man.
So she don't get confused.
And I know some people probably won't like that comment, but just like they're shoving non-genderism, that's what I'll call it, in our face. If you want your child to understand gender roles and understand male, female, masculine, feminine, I think that you should walk in your truth. And if you're a manly man, be a manly man. Don't go put on you don't have to put on a tutu to help your baby with ballerina.
I seen that.
You don't have
picture
to dress
too.
in drag,
and that would have been a definite bad thing, because I seen that picture where the guy it was on floating around Instagram where the dad had the tutu on with his daughter, and that would have been
that man.
If I would have been his wife or his girlfriend, I'd have probably been like, wait a minute, boo. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at least make it blue or something. I mean, it wasn't even blue. It wasn't, because
there are male ballerinas out there, but they don't have on tutus.
They don't. He had on the whole pink tutu just like she did.
Yeah.
That would have been a turnoff.
I don't think that would have been a turnoff for me. I know some silly men, some funny men, some Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, Jim Carrey type funny guys that aren't trying to look or be anything other than themselves and manly, if nothing else. There's nothing womanly about them, and they're just having a good time with their kid. That's how I see it.
It may be situational based on the guy. Like, if he had other red flags and did that for me, I'd be like, nah, bro, that's what you want to do. Like,
man. So
I have one thing, but it has nothing to do with kids. There's this particular way that guys sit sometimes when they're watching TV on the couch that just throws me just off. I can't do it now because I have a dress on, but it's basically like you take the one leg and like this, and then the other leg is like this, and it's like they put their hand around the knee. You know what I'm talking about? That thing where, and it's like they need to be sitting there and their feet just, I don't know, be pointed a little bit. I've seen that before and was like,
only a skinny man can do that.
Well, and I'm like,
does it bother you like when guys cross their legs sitting?
Sometimes it depends. You can tell when it's just like and when it's a
manly cross and it's a feminine cross.
And the feet pointed a little bit.
Yeah.
See, I've been wondering, could I get into because for me, I feel like I love a manly man. I want the over-the-top manly man. That's what I'm into, because other than that, I know I'm a little hard around the edges. So, I mean, So and I say that because if he's not a manly man, then I could be more man than him.
Okay, so hold on, and I didn't want to take it there. My brain was saying, Sabrina, come back, but no, you took it, so I'm going with you, and we're gonna go together in this car.
It's real.
I get what you mean, because I definitely have had situations where men have told me, why you so, why you so aggressive, or why you so this, why you so that. And I'm like, I really don't like to be, and I'd prefer to just be safe in your arms and relax and everything else, but I don't trust you. I don't trust you. I don't trust that you're going to have my back and do the things I need you to do the way I would do them or better. So therefore, I got to come off as quote unquote manly and not allowing you to jack stuff up for me that I don't work so hard for. If I sound bitter, screw y'all. The point of the matter is, it's rough trying to work in today's society and actually build and do things with someone who you don't trust. If that makes you manly, it makes you manly.
So my question is this though: why do we stay with people we don't trust?
That's a whole.
Okay, so hold on.
Oh, that's a whole.
That's a whole mental illness right there.
Boredom. Okay, another show.
No, it's
entertainment,
it's
attraction.
Attraction, horny,
but they find ignorant butts.
But to that point, it's like I was just talking. I forgot who I was talking to about. I had this debate. Do you think Beyonce is an alpha female?
Yes.
And still is submissive to her husband?
Yes.
And a lot of people say no. I say
Really?
yes. You have to be an alpha female to be who she is and where she is in her life.
Exactly.
But I feel like in her relationship, though, she is a submissive woman. So you can still be independent and doing all this stuff you got to do and still at the same time have a man that you are submissive to. The issue is a lot of the men on these streets, they're not Jay-Z's for sure to be able to have a Beyonce and be that guy to be like, yeah, that's my wife. She a boss and she's still my wife.
I agree.
A lot of guys are like, you're getting too much attention. You too big in the room when you walk in. You bring us all this. You know what I mean? They can't handle it.
And what does that circle back to what she said? Insecurity.
His own insecurity.
You can't be a brighter flame.
That is feminine energy.
I got a question for you. Now, when you say manly man, right, you got to take the good with the bad. Now, when it comes to manly man, when I think of like, I don't want to call him a feminine. What's
metrosexual?
A metrosexual
I don't really
man.
like those.
Okay, well, what's the term, the opposite of a masculine man? What are we calling him?
A man in touch with his feelings?
I thought it was
but I don't mean you're not
the metrosexual.
No.
Okay,
It's
but
not
basically,
metrosexual, but okay, so let's
the
just take
opposite
that
of the manly
framing.
man, right?
Okay.
Where the more feminine man who may be like on his P's and Q's about every little thing, like you ain't gonna catch him slipping. When I think of like manly man, I think of taking the stuff that comes with it, such as skid marks or smells or
that's a nasty man.
It's not. No, but sometimes
Manly men be nasty.
they just be like,
No, all men should wipe
That's
their
what
ass
men-
properly.
they wipe.
Like, to nothing is on the tissue and use a baby wipe, bruh.
They ain't about that
They be
life.
hairy,
They ain't
too.
about that life.
Like-
I know they ain't about that life.
So what I'm asking is, what are you got the benefits of the manly man? What is the other side of the manly man that you have to
That you got to
take
deal with.
with?
You know, usually it's their habits.
Habits.
Because usually the manly man has habits. I mean, everybody's habits, but of course the manly man has his habits. Okay,
What are his habits?
Well, let's just talk about the manly man. Let's say that he loves sports. Okay, when sports are on, he's not playing with you. He doesn't even want to be bothered with you. He doesn't want to talk about your new hairdo. He doesn't want to talk about what you bought at the mall. He doesn't want to talk about what happened at work for that
That's
week.
fine. I could go do TikToks.
So, like, I think, like, because I know dealing with a manly man, he was into sports, and when it was sports time, I did not exist. Okay, and that was okay because I got stuff to do. Like you say, we could be doing anything. So, and it just gave me more time to do my thing. Like, yes, go to your game. Yes, go tailgating. Yes, go and, do
I
your
want to go
your
tailgating,
stuff.
though, because I like the food.
Now,
But, I'm going to be quiet
now,
while
it is
you're
a
watching
good
your
time.
game.
I did. We used to go to the games all the time in sports. It was a good time. So, and I had no idea what was going on there because I don't know nothing about the games. I'm just like, yes.
But you were
pass me another
participating,
drink.
but you were invisible.
And it was okay because...
And you were fine with that? Okay.
I was fine with that because the snacks and the drinks were good. And, you know, he was having a good time at the game, hollering at who knows what was going on. I didn't know. I would holler too. Yeah!
And this isn't a feminine thing to me, but fellas, cheat code snacks. Like, we really don't care what else is happening. You got some good food. And,
that is very true. Game
we're going to
day
be all
food
right.
is good.
We're going to be all right. Feed us and we will be okay.
But hygiene was on point, though, although he was a manly man. That's what you're saying?
I didn't say that. I didn't necessarily. I'm not saying.
So you're
that
telling us that your guy didn't properly wash his ass.
That's not what I'm saying either. But what I'm saying is because when it was time to go, he was GQing on point. But after a hard days of work,
he had duck butter.
I don't even want to know what duck butter is. But what I was getting at was I like a guy who keeps his hands and feet manicured and pedicured. However,
some people look at that as feminine,
right?
Yeah. Now I don't see. Now I don't necessarily saying like grooming yourself is not feminine, but
you said metrosexual.
Metrosexual
and lending towards more of a feminine man, and a metrosexual by definition is let me not say that.
Well, I'll put it this way: a man can get a manicure and still get matte put on his nails. Getting the shine.
I agree. That's my limit.
The same shine that I put on my nails.
Yeah,
that's a choice.
I like the shine.
You have that option to get matte nails. They have the male, manicure set, which it comes with a matte coat.
So you're not shining out here.
Okay, so you can still be neat, you can still be clean, and you do not have to look like you're shining all the way across the room, and I could tell like, oh, that's clear polish. You know?
Okay, so I think a lot of what we talk about when it comes down to the way we see men and how we are attracted to them and all that really has a lot to do with our culture. Outside of our culture, and even like right within our culture, you could see the Arabic population, the people from the Middle East and United something Emirates.
I just want him. Ayman.
Thank you. UAE. So I remember going on this really cool date with this guy. Let's call him Aladdin.
Okay.
Now, and I told him this was his name, and we had this conversation, and he understood that. So being with Aladdin was a really fun time. He took me to a spot that they went and got down, and we had like hookahs. I had my own. It had orange juice in it. It was fantastic. He had me try cow udder. It was not that crazy, but I won't eat it again. Okay. And they were all dancing.
What's the udder of a cow?
It's some part that's a delicacy for them. They brought out this poo-poo platter with a whole bunch of different Mediterranean. That part of it, yes.
I was saying, it sounds like poo-poo.
It's not poop. I wouldn't eat that. The udder I tried because it was a delicacy, and I said, you know what, Andrew Zimmerman me, I'm gonna do it. So that whole time was so interesting because as they're like up and dancing, the men are holding hands and shrugging shoulders and waving flags and doing things that I wouldn't necessarily be attracted to in my normal everyday like culture, but understanding that men holding hands for them is not gay, is not feminine, is not anything. This is my friend, this is my partner, it's my compadre. They wouldn't say compadre over there, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I think a lot of what we see is based on what our culture is and how we're going to perpetuate and move our culture forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that wouldn't have bothered me. Like men hold hands to pray, and then it's always that guy like, oh, I need a lady in between the holding hand. Like, you're a weirdo. Chill out. But you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of the times it depends on that particular man for me to say what he's doing is feminine or not. Mm-hmm. Like there's certain things.
There's feminine energy.
The energy.
It's coming off of them. Like
why are you channeling your inner Beyonce, sir?
Okay.
Like, that's
acting like a bee.
You know what else is super feminine to me? If you listen to a guy and he's bothered by a woman, pissed or mad, how he goes off about that woman.
Yeah.
It just comes up. Like I've heard guys call women bees. To me, that I don't know why that feels feminine to me like that. And she looking like this, and it's like, ugh, you sound
like those guys who, when a girl doesn't want to talk to him, he wants to crack her upside the head with a brick like that lady.
That's very feminine energy.
It is.
I was so sad looking at that.
Yeah, I heard she made it up too.
Yeah, I heard.
I don't know.
So on the flip side, like say for instance, I know guys have the complaint about women having masculine energy, and you know how we said earlier, like you can be independent yet submissive. I honestly think that that's how I am. I'm such a cake with my guy, like
right.
But I'm gonna get my stuff done on my own too. I know men like to feel wanted and needed without the whole gold digger persona being behind it or whatever, right? But where I think females have too much masculine energy is when they don't allow that man to be a man. Let him open the door for you. You don't have to get loud and rowdy all the time. Sometimes we need to know when to shut the hell up, to be honest. You got to pick and choose your battles. I feel like even as a man or a woman, know when to pick your battles. Like, no man with true masculine energy that is a manly man will try to publicly embarrass me. And I would never, and I feel like a man should protect me. But as a woman, I would never put that man in a position where he has to protect me. So it's a difference, you know. And I think that's where a lot of females mess up because they want to be rah, rah, rah. Like, sometimes we really do got to shut up.
Well, that's not even just like, I mean, that's defense, right? That's defensive. When you bark on somebody, you trying to get them with your words or even sometimes your fists. Because for me, personally, and that's on the real, I'm an evolved person. I am not that quick with my words. I'll fight because it hurts that bad. I have no other way to hurt you bad enough. I'm not going to have the words. And
You're
I'm
going
not
to go to jail.
And see, that's why I stopped. I stopped a long time ago.
I don't put my hands on me outside of self-defense.
Right,
like,
so that's a defensive thing. So when we find ourselves being defensive, then what is that a signal of? Healing. There's a crack in the foundation somewhere that we have to kind of like go in and figure out, because treating anybody any kind of way negatively, and I'll raise my hand first and foremost. It's like when I'm more at peace, I'm able to address a situation from a stable position versus already just being a live wire and going through whatever it is.
As it pertains to relationships with the manly man or whatever man, I feel like a woman, if she's defensive, there's something missing in the way he's making her feel.
Yes.
Because a woman, no matter how strong you are, no matter how independent you are, my best friend is 6'2", and she will beat everybody up in here, but when she is in love, I swear she's 4'11". Like with the right person that makes you feel at ease, you are not like that. So if you find yourself constantly feeling like that and want to be defensive and all that, I don't think that you're with a person that's
the right
really
person.
Calming your
I get what you're saying, but sometimes
you don't feel safe.
Sometimes a person may have their own inner self issues, whether it's from past relationships or how they was raised, that makes them act like that. And that man could be treating that woman properly as he should, and she's just not healed where she's able to receive that. And because it's been men like that. Even I can tell when I meet a man who mama didn't love him right. I can tell. He treats me different from a man who mother has loved him properly. So, sometimes it's not always that person, but they're that inner child or that inner self from a previous relationship, they ain't get past that.
Yeah.
There are some women that have been so traumatized, so beat down that they don't even feel comfortable in a safe place. They will start self-sabotage. They will start feeling uncomfortable, like, dang, he really likes me. He really loves me. Let me mess this up, like, subconsciously.
And it's right. It's not at the front of their mind. It's not at the front of their mind. They don't want to, like, hurt themselves further and go through more turmoil. That's opposite of what human nature is. We try not to do that. But at the same time, if that's what you know of love, that's what your programming is. That's a poor place to start from, unfortunately. And I know we only got 15 minutes on these podcasts, so let's say last question posed here. What is the worst compliment you ever got by somebody telling you you're strong?
But wait, telling us that we're strong?
Like, you's a strong woman. Yeah, what's the worst compliment you ever got? Because it's like, yo, thanks, but I don't want to have to be.
I mentioned that one. Just was going on a date and the guy just kept saying how, I know you don't need no man. I know you don't need no man. I know you don't need me for nothing. And I just kept thinking about to myself how, and I probably won't either. Because to me, it was letting me know that if you don't think I need you for anything, you probably have nothing to give.
Ooh,
validation,
because because I believe that a man does set the tone for the relationship in a sense. Because if he sets that tone that I got you, even if it's for minor stuff, like I got your door, I got you for lunch, or I got you, if you need me, if you get stranded, to call me, whatever. If that man makes you feel completely secure, you will slide into your submissiveness. Because it'll be natural because you will be able to know that this is a man that can come through for you. But when you're guessing and you're not sure, and it's like you get in a situation and you can't even call on this man.
Oh, Lord.
Who is he?
And I don't care if it's romantic or not.
Yeah.
I'm not touching the door if I see you, sir. Anywho.
Period.
Yeah.
I think the worst compliment was for me. I tried it dating an older guy. I didn't like it. And then he kept on, when he first met me, he kept on saying, oh, you ain't nothing but a spoiled brat. You ain't nothing but a spoiled brat. First of all, I am spoiled, but I ain't a spoiled brat. Like, he just kept on saying, how you doing, spoiled brat? It annoyed me. When he seen that he wasn't able to hold the money over my head like a carrot in front of a horse, then it came, well, hey, big money. Hey, money maker. Hey, money
Ooh, I'm glad you done with him, right?
I was like, Earl, if you don't get the hell out of my face.
Jimmy Earl. Jimmy Full Earl. Your Earl name. Jimmy Earl Jones.
Lee. Okay, he had one of the double names like Walter Lee. Like, no. I hated it.
I mean, I got a compliment with like saying, "Oh, you a strong woman," after some like explaining my story to somebody and all the stuff I put up with and dealt with my ex and all the kids and all that stuff, and they're like, "You a strong woman." And in my mind, I mean, I know they were being honest. I mean, like, and like they weren't coming from a bad place, but in my mind, it made me feel like, ugh. When you listen back to the stuff that you've gone through and dealt with over and over and over, it's like, ugh. It just, I didn't feel. You are strong for sure. I'm strong. It's just, why did I put myself through it? Is what I had. So,
you do the best with what you got, right?
Yeah.
You definitely do. So, guys. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I think no matter how strong of a woman you are, if you are really a woman who wants a man, at the end of the day, you still want a man who's stronger.
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes.
And Lord help us because they disguise themselves and it be full on, I'm so strong. And I'm like, oh,
Muscles.
wait.
It's certain guys I dated, I'm like, oh, I know I can't pop off at the mouth with him. Not to say that I'm scared he put his hands on me or anything, but he's that much of a man. I'm like, you good, daddy? Okay.
I can't.
Now, you know, when it's a daddy conversation, it's a whole different kind of man. But listen, guys, thanks so much for tuning into this episode of 2.5, Every Woman Season 2.5. This is the podcast. I'm Sabrina.
Lauren.
Okila.
Toy to talk.
All right, check in on us again soon. Thanks, guys.
I am every woman.